School's going to be starting up in about 2 weeks. What have you guys done to make sure that you're ready?
So that's a really good question. It's been a long process, really going back to early May, once the decision was made that we would be closed for the remainder of that second semester last year. And it's just a matter of ensuring that we use the best data available in making decisions, and that includes data from at the federal level and then also local data, and really adopting things that for us fits the flow and sequence of our school. So continues to be a process. Obviously, it's been a very fluid process for us in that we've created plans and we've been able to update those plans as different mandates have been presented. And look, likely we'll continue to do that until the 11th of August.
And on that note, with mask requirements now being extended through August, how will you ensure that students are wearing them? Will they be provided?
So we've had a really good test run this summer. We've had summer camps, and certainly, like a lot of other schools, we've had athletes on campus. And our students who have been with us this summer have done a really great job in getting accustomed to those masks. So the recommendation by the CDC is to actually take time, especially for the younger students, and really explain to them the purpose of face coverings and how it can help mitigate, along with physical distancing and cleaning procedures, but it can help mitigate the spread. And I believe personally it's about teaching them what personal responsibility is as a good citizen. Certainly masks are not what we all necessarily might choose, because there are some levels of uncomfort, but it is something that we're mandated by our local and state government, and we want to be good citizens and teach them what good citizenship is, and that's one of the processes.
You also offer a virtual option for parents.
We do. So our pathways, we really have a couple of pathways available. This has been a really difficult decision for parents to make. There are so many extenuating circumstances that people are faced with in their own life and their extended families. So we wanted to provide the opportunity for parents to choose, coming back on campus and face-to-face instruction, which I think all educators agree is absolutely the best way to teach and learn. But, some people have a very tough decision to make, and that is, as badly as we want to be back in school, we need to, for the safety of our children, our family, our extended family, we need to do things not in person. So we provided them a synchronous opportunity for learning. And from our standpoint, it had to be better than what we did in the spring. I think we did an incredible job in a short time frame, but we learned some things from that. And so we're able now to offer a more synchronous learning environment through some of the technologies that we have purchased and will incorporate, and we've trained our teachers on this summer. But we're doing that for a quarter at a time, because we know that parents who may be apprehensive in a month or 2 months or 3 months, things may change and they may want to come back. So I think it's important that we give them the opportunity to remain a UMS-Wright student and be able to learn remotely, but also the opportunity when things hopefully will settle down and things are easier for them from a decision-making standpoint, they can come back and join us in person.
I want to talk about teachers. Have you had any pushback from any of them about their concern being physically in the building?
Well, I certainly wouldn't call it pushback. I think there's concern, and it's very much warranted. I completely understand. Again, whether it's our parents and our families or our staff, everyone has circumstances that they have to address. So we haven't had any pushback, certainly. But we've had some real conversations with, kind of what can we do as a school to keep you safe? Because quite honestly, we can start school and all of our students can come back, and we're anticipating that. But if we don't have teachers who are healthy and confident in what they're able to do in that environment, then it's going to be all for naught. So we've had those conversations. We have asked our teachers to do some things like take additional class loads. And so our teachers traditionally teach 5 courses and have 2 planning periods. Now we've gone through all of our teachers teaching 6, simply so we can, arrange our classes so that we can adequately socially distance. And asking them to do so, I have been just, again, amazed by their morale and their understanding of that. because it's a matter, their number one priority is to teach these children, to get them to their highest potential. But there's also a degree of safety we have to consider. So for the most part, we have had great teacher preparation over the last 2 months, and they're excited and ready to go. And they know that as a school, we're doing everything we can do and that we're being asked to do to keep everybody safe. That is the students and the faculty.
Where do you see sports playing out in all this?
So, the mission of UMS-Wright is to educate students to their highest potential in mind, body, spirit, and character. So the body part, and we think, athletics play all co-curriculars play a crucial part in us achieving our mission. I think that the ability to participate in sports programs or arts programs are super important for our families in getting back to a sense of maybe not even normalcy, but it's really so good for their social and emotional well-being. And so it's certainly going to look differently for all of us, whether it's a classroom or the football field or the volleyball court or the stage. But I still think that, as a 10-year-old or a 14-year-old or an 18-year-old senior, we've got to do everything we can as safely as we can to expose them and give them those opportunities to do the things that they love that ties the whole experience of education together. Because it's really, the academic issues are always top priority. But all these other things wouldn't be in the missions of all of our schools if they weren't important to the well-being and the development of these individuals.
How many school nurses does your school have, and will you be adding on more?
So another good question. We have in our lower school, we have one of our assistant administrators serves as our lower school health practitioner. In the middle and upper school, we actually have 2 trainers from Encore Rehabilitation that work with our students. But we've also, in the last 3 years, hired a director of safety and security for our school, Garrett Humphrey. And Garrett was really kind of brought on to make sure and to audit our school and make sure we were doing all we could do to promote, safety for our students and faculty. And Lenise, as you can imagine, 3 years ago, what that looked like is very different than it looks now. Now the focus is on how can we, mitigate a very intrusive virus and keep our families safe. But Garrett has done an incredible job in formulating our entire plan, our protocol. So that's the way that we use that. He has developed a quarantine room for students should they become symptomatic at school and parents have to come get them, all the way to what our health screenings will look like on a daily basis, what algorithm will we follow for protocols, and so forth. Garrett has got direct contacts with the CDC and with the Mobile County Department of Health, and they have been instrumental in developing all of our plans. But primarily, we've built to come in and really formulate that plan for us, along with our medical advisory committee that we meet with every 2 weeks.
On that note, we hear a lot about PPE. How much have you had to spend, and how do you go about finding a proper supplier? There are a lot of questions that go along with that.
There really are, and if you're like most people, you can open up emails every day and have another offer with another kind of gimmick. But what we did is, again, going back to about mid-April, we found a supplier that we were comfortable with, and we have actually taken one of our rooms in our maintenance division and really stockpiled a lot. Now, not greedily, but what we think we're going to need, because we've always had sand sanitizing stations the last couple of years because fighting the flu and those kind of things. But we've added 25 new hand sanitizing stations around campus. We're in the process of changing all of our sinks and urinals to self-flushing and some of those things. And we've purchased a couple of sanitizing machines, misting machines. So the number continues to grow as far as financially, but I think it's important to understand that though that that may not be what you had maybe earmarked those dollars for, it is something that we have to do. Again, we've got to demonstrate to our families and our staff that we're doing everything in our power based on the recommendations that we trust to keep you safe and secure.
And last question, as we get ready for this new school year and with all of 2020 in our minds here, what is your message to inspire students?
So I've heard a lot of different mantras, as I know you have, and I think we'll get through this together has been very important. Uh, each year we have, as a school, we have a little mantra that we put out, a yearly mantra. This year it's going to be more about I think trust. What is trust? And so I think trust goes along with doing the right thing. So looking at maybe being able to take care of each other and ourselves. I think far too often our focus is so inward, and that's why I mentioned earlier about citizenship. I think when you talk about face coverings and you talk about reporting illnesses when you have them, even though you maybe are reporting asymptomatic issues when you've been exposed, those are things that good citizens do. And so I think the idea of trusting one another and putting that trust so that we can ensure that we not only keep ourselves healthy, but we keep those around us healthy and safe as well. So I think trust will continue to be a very important mantra for us moving forward this year.
Well, thank you very much for your time.